Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online, the show that dives deep into the surprising stories behind everyday things. Today, we're tackling a beverage that has taken over refrigerators and social media feeds across the globe. I'm talking about seltzer. From the ubiquitous colorfully canned LaCroix to the hard seltzer revolution led by White Claw, it feels like we're living in a golden age of fizzy water. But this isn't some new fad. The journey of seltzer is a tale that stretches back to ancient civilizations, winds through the laboratories of 18th century scientists, visits the golden age of the American soda fountain, and nearly fades into obscurity before its spectacular comeback. It's a story of science, culture, marketing, and our timeless fascination with bubbles. So grab your favorite can of pamplemousse or lime, and let's get into the effervescent history of seltzer. Our story begins long before anyone had heard of a calorie or a zero-sugar sweetener. For ancient civilizations, sparkling water wasn't a product. It was a miracle of nature. The Greeks and Romans were particularly fond of it. They would make long pilgrimages to naturally carbonated mineral springs, believing the bubbly waters held powerful curative properties. Imagine stumbling across a spring in the middle of a forest that was naturally fizzy. It must have seemed like magic. The father of medicine himself, Hippocrates, wrote about the medicinal qualities of this special water. This belief wasn't just a fleeting fancy. It persisted for centuries. These natural springs were the original health spas. People would travel to bathe in them and, of course, to drink the water, hoping to cure everything from indigestion to arthritis. The very name seltzer comes from one of these famous locations. In Germany, there's a town called Niederselters, which was renowned for its natural mineral springs. By the 1700s, the reputation of Seltzer's water was so great that it was being bottled in clay jugs and shipped all over the world. It was one of the first international beverage brands, all thanks to Mother Nature. For thousands of years, if you wanted bubbly water, you had to find a special spring. Humans couldn't create it. That all changed in the 18th century, a time of immense scientific curiosity. The man we have to thank is an English chemist and theologian named Joseph Priestley. Priestley is a fascinating figure, a minister, a political radical who supported the French Revolution, and a brilliant scientist who is credited with discovering oxygen. But in 1767, he made another world-changing discovery, completely by accident. Priestley lived next to a brewery in Leeds, England. He became fascinated by the gas that was bubbling up from the massive fermenting beer vats. He called this gas fixed air. We know it today as carbon dioxide. In a simple but ingenious experiment, he suspended a bowl of water just above the surface of the fermenting beer. He found that the gas dissolved into the water, creating a cool, pleasant, fizzy drink. He loved it. He wrote that it had a peculiarly satisfying taste. Unlike many inventors, Priestley wasn't interested in getting rich from his discovery. He was a true open-source pioneer. In 1772, he published a paper called Impregnating Water with Fixed Air, which was basically a DIY guide for anyone who wanted to make their own fizzy water at home. He saw it as a potential health benefit for sailors on long voyages, believing it could help prevent scurvy. He was wrong about the scurvy part, but his intentions were noble. The person who saw the commercial potential was a German-Swiss jeweler, an amateur scientist named Johann Jakob Schweppe. Schweppe read Priestley's work and thought, I can do this better, and I can sell it. He wasn't a jeweler by trade for nothing. He was a master of precision. He developed a more efficient, practical method for carbonating water using a compression pump. In 1783, he founded the Schweppes Company in Geneva and later moved to London. Schweppe is often called the father of the modern soft drink industry because he was the first to successfully commercialize artificially carbonated water. He marketed his product as a health tonic, selling it to doctors and in pharmacies, tapping into that age-old belief in the curative power of bubbly water. This set the stage for seltzer's first golden age. Throughout the 1800s, seltzer, or soda water as it was often called in America, became deeply intertwined with the pharmacy. American pharmacists began creating their own seltzerous waters, mixing the carbonated water with various syrups and flavorings to make it more palatable and to add supposed medicinal benefits. This, right here, is the birth of the soda, and the place where it all happened was the soda fountain. The soda fountain was patented in 1819 by Samuel Fahnestock. Initially, it was just a simple barrel with a pump, but it quickly evolved into the heart of the American drugstore. These became incredibly ornate fixtures made of marble and brass, and they were major social hubs, especially during Prohibition when bars were closed. For just a few cents, you could get a plain soda water, the crisp, clean ancestor of what we drink today. Or, for a penny more, you could get it flavored with raspberry, vanilla, or chocolate syrup. While the soda fountain brought seltzer to the masses, another innovation brought it into the home, the soda siphon. You've definitely seen these. They're the classic, heavy glass bottles with a metal trigger on top. A small, disposable cartridge of carbon dioxide would be used to charge the water inside, keeping it fizzy. In the early to mid-20th century, having a soda siphon on your bar cart was a sign of middle-class affluence. In many cities, especially places like New York, with large Jewish immigrant populations, seltzer was a cultural staple. It was delivered to your door in these siphons by the seltzer man, just like milk. It was so central to the culture it was often called Jewish champagne. And of course, the soda siphon was immortalized in pop culture through slapstick comedy. When you think of the Three Stooges, one of the first images that comes to mind is Moe spraying Curly in the face with a blast of seltzer from a soda siphon. It became an iconic comedy prop. But then, things went flat. After World War II, America's tastes began to change. The post-war era was one of prosperity and new consumer technologies. The national palate shifted dramatically towards sweeter things. Sugary soft drinks like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, with massive advertising budgets, became dominant. Seltzer, with its plain, unsweetened taste, started to seem old-fashioned. Furthermore, the convenience of pre-packaged, single-use cans and bottles made the seltzer delivery man and the refillable siphon seem like relics of a bygone era. Seltzer was pushed to the dusty back shelves of the supermarket, relegated to being a mixer for whiskey or a remedy for an upset stomach. Its time as a cultural icon was seemingly over. For decades, seltzer languished, but then in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, a perfect storm of factors led to its spectacular renaissance, and it was spearheaded by a once modest Midwestern brand, LaCroix. LaCroix was actually introduced way back in 1980 by a brewery in LaCroix, Wisconsin. Its name is a combination of LaCroix and Croix from the nearby St. Croix River. For years, it was just a regional favorite, popular with people who were looking for a healthier alternative to soda. The real turning point came when the brand was acquired by National Beverage Corp. In 2002, they gave LaCroix a major makeover, resulting in the iconic, vibrant, almost 80s-inspired packaging we know today. But the real explosion happened in the mid-2010s. By this time, consumers were becoming increasingly suspicious of sugar and artificial sweeteners. A health and wellness movement was in full swing. LaCroix, with its simple ingredient list, carbonated water, natural flavor, and its promise of 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 sodium, was perfectly positioned to fill the void. National Beverage launched a brilliant, targeted social media campaign that resonated with millennials. Suddenly, LaCroix wasn't just a drink, it was a lifestyle accessory. It was a status symbol you posted on Instagram. It became the subject of countless memes and articles dissecting the mystery of its natural flavors. The brand built a cult-like following, proving that consumers were desperate for a healthy, interesting, and unsweet alternative to soda. This incredible resurgence of plain seltzer paved the way for the next, even bigger phenomenon: hard seltzer. The concept wasn't entirely new. Many of us remember Zima from the 90s. But the modern hard seltzer movement truly ignited in 2016 with the introduction of two brands, White Claw and Truly. They took the LaCroix formula, sleek packaging, low calories, low sugar, refreshing taste, and added alcohol. The timing was perfect. Health-conscious consumers who were tired of heavy, high-calorie beers and sugary cocktails flocked to it. Its popularity has been nothing short of meteoric, and the global hard seltzer market is now a multi-billion-dollar industry. So, from a sacred gift of nature revered by the ancients, to a scientific curiosity in a brewery, to a pharmacist's health tonic, a symbol of middle-class comfort, a forgotten relic, and finally, a trendy canned sensation that has redefined the beverage industry. The history of seltzer is a perfect reflection of our changing relationship with health, science, taste, and culture. It proves that sometimes the simplest things, like a bit of air dissolved in water, can be the most revolutionary. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online. We'll see you next time.